in dealing with seniors, like where do we advertise for that and how do we connect with them? And so I just thought she might have some tips that would be good for you guys. A little bit different topic than we have had in the past, but thought that you guys might be able to pull from her wonderful knowledge. So Tressa, I'll let you take it over.
Cool. Thank you so much, Monica. And thanks everybody for having me. This is super exciting. I love this kind of thing. So yeah, let me just start sharing my screen. We'll just jump right in. Okay. All right. So, I'm just going to hide that. So this is going to be a little bit fast-paced. I'm going to try to keep it quick, but I'm also recording this. So if you ask Monica, she can send it to you, the recording, so you can look back at anything you might need. So, all right, let's jump in. We've got how to capture people's attention and use effective marketing with social media. And a lot of that has to do with content, right? So the king of content, if you haven't heard, is Gary Vaynerchuk. He is a Fortune 500 business owner. He is a very active person on all social media. And he said, the internet has changed the way we communicate, so why aren't you using it? Thought that was a good quote to start. So the first thing that I'm sure you guys all know to some extent, right, is that you need to truly know your target audience. And something to consider is that your target audience might not just be the seniors, right? But it's going to be their 40-year-old children that might need to consider, transitioning them into whatever services that you're offering, right? So taking a step back from, I need to do these Facebook ads and I need to post on all these different social medias and all this stuff, and really just understanding who your target audience is going to be the first step to success with content marketing. And a really great way to do this is to figure out customer avatars. So what you can do is take some kind of a format like this and consider, 3 to 5 different types of people that you might work with, right? So you could pull from past clients and say, all right, this type of person, their name might be Sally, right? Their education is going to be college level, right? Their hobbies and traits, like just take a second and think through all of these different things. Are they married? What platforms are they on for social media? With their hobbies and traits, something to consider is their whole life isn't, focusing on their parents, right? They have other things going on. So what are their interests and things that you can appeal to them, and then just tie that back to your business, right? So challenges, pain points, how do they define themselves? That's something to think about. You're going to talk to people a little differently if somebody defines themselves as like a business professional versus, say, a hipster, right? So that is something to consider, all of these goals, values, potential objections that they might have. So if you take a step back and you really look into your target audience and figure out just 3 to 5 different types of people, that's going to be a really great start for your content marketing. So, innovative content marketing talks directly to your target audience. It reveals benefits, not just features, and I'll jump into that a little bit more here in a second. Innovative content marketing has a very simple, clear message and includes call to actions, CTAs. So that would be like click here or call now kind of a thing. Innovative content marketing leans into your USP, which is your unique selling proposition. So basically just what makes you and your business unique. And innovative content marketing tells stories and focuses on emotion. So I don't know if you guys have heard the phrase facts tell and stories sell, but it's one of my favorite marketing phrases because it's just so true, right? Stories are just so much more focused on emotion. So the more you can tie in stories with your marketing, the better. And innovative content marketing also has a consistent, noticeable voice, look, and feel. So really kind of solidifying your branding with like your graphics and things is going to be important. And then it also focuses on what your audience will get from your message. So something to consider is when people are looking at your content, they're not thinking about anybody else but themselves, really, right? They're like, what's in it for me? Like, what are you doing to entertain me? If people are scrolling through Facebook, for example, they're on there for what reasons? Probably escapism to some extent, right? So how can you entertain them or educate them or, think through all of these different things, right? So 97% of businesses report that video helps users better understand their products and services and also helps increase sales. So my background, everything that I do is based in video. So I'm a little biased in saying this, but there are a ton of stats that back me up. Video is the way to go. So if you can figure out some video strategy for your business, that would be awesome. So something to consider is that you need to stop thumbs. And what I mean by this is people are just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, right? So you need to capture their attention and stop their thumbs. And we'll talk about ways to do this in just a second. The first 3 to 5 seconds of your video, especially on social media platforms, is everything. So you need to stop those thumbs. You got to hook them in some way. So we'll talk about different ways we can do that. And one of the ways you can do that is to actually include captions or text on the screen. So if you think about it, when people are scrolling on Facebook, they're not, like, all the videos, they're on mute. So they're scrolling, but they're not hearing anything. So if you're like, hey guys, this is, blah, 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 you start talking, they're not going to hear it. But if you have, hey guys, show up in text, or that's not really a good hook at all, but you kind of get my point here. They'll be reading the text and it's, moving and whatnot, so it'll catch their eye, so on and so forth. So captions and text on the screen is a really good way to get people hooked in. And there are a lot of apps that you can even just get on your phone to help you throw in captions for your videos. And something to consider here is that you should start creating videos based on your audience's PQR2. So what I mean by this is your audience's problems, questions, roadblocks, and results. Okay, so going back to your customer avatars, right? Really thinking through, all right, what problems are they having? Like, what questions do they have? What's holding them back from moving forward with services? Like, really thinking through, like, what are the emotions? What are the questions? All of these things that you can solve and then, relieve them of that stress or whatever to help them move forward with the buying process. So if you think about it, you've got point A, right? Point A is where your followers are, and point B is where they want to be. So between point A and point B is their PQR2. That's their problems, questions, roadblocks, and results, right? Your content is the bridge over the problems that they're facing, okay? So your content can help solve those problems before you even meet them, before you even start the buying process, right? So if you're able to solve those problems that they're facing and questions that they have before they even have to ask them, they're gonna know, like, and trust you that much more before they even talk to you on the phone. So something to consider here is focusing on benefits and not only the features. So focusing on the benefits of your products or services. A feature is what it is, and a benefit is what it does. And sometimes these two things get kind of jumbled and people don't really focus on the benefits, but the benefits really have a lot of the emotion behind what your product is all about or your service. So for example, a Tesla Model X, right? This really cool car. Features would be, it's got 7 seats, it's falcon wing doors, there's touchscreen, autopilot, all this cool stuff, right? Well, the benefits are that it keeps your family safe, right? A benefit is that you might be perceived as a higher social status. You might, people might think you're more modern or innovative or sexy, right? Your benefits could be comfortable seating or ease in the most burdensome parts of driving with the autopilot. It's just about how you frame it. So if you're thinking about buying a new home, for example, we all know the features, right? 4 bedrooms, 2 baths, large, just hardwood floors, all of that stuff. But the benefits of buying a new home are going to be a lot different, and they're going to be a lot more emotional, right? So people buy for the benefits, not the features. If you can, help promote a home, for example, and say this is a safe, vibrant neighborhood, perfect for raising a family, that's going to get through to somebody a lot better than, it's got 4 bedrooms and 2 baths. It's really great, So less stress, different things. If you're able to relieve those PQR2s within your benefits, that's going to help you guys out with your content marketing. And let me know, guys, I can't actually see anybody right now, so if you guys are saying something in chat or whatever, you might need to unmute and then tell me to look, but I'll just keep moving forward. So not every video needs to or should be professionally filmed. So a lot of this you guys can shoot yourself, actually. There are a few different types of videos that I would very, very highly suggest that you have, and it kind of just depends on your branding and whatnot too. Obviously, the more professional videos, the better, in my opinion. I know I'm a little biased, but it depends on your branding, but not every video needs to be professionally filmed. Your iPhone can do a really great job, for example, of shooting video, and people can get to know you just as well through an iPhone video as they could through a professionally shot and edited video. So something to consider if you are thinking of filming your own stuff, this camera could be your phone, doesn't really matter, and your key light could be a window. So if you just go stand next to a window, you're gonna have a lot better lighting than you would standing in front of the window, for example. So just consider, if you're shooting something on your own, a basic lighting setup would be really great. If you want to get super fancy, you can go and add a hair light. If you want to get even fancier, you can look at your fill lights and your backlights and all this stuff. And if you guys want to look into this later, I would just Google a 3-point lighting setup. So now you're probably like, all right, cool. I know I need to make video. Everybody talks about it all the time, right? What the heck do I make video content focused on? And here are a ton of ideas. And this is something where obviously you're not probably going to be able to write this down right away, but this is where you might want to look back on. So making video content focused on your customer avatars, like we talked about. You can educate your prospects. Content focused on what makes you unique, what's your company all about. Content focused on the people in your company, and not only like what they do, but who are they and why are they perfect for the job. Providing social proof of your product, service, or experience. And what I mean by social proof is, if you have a community of businesses that support you, people might trust those businesses before they know you. So providing that social proof that they trust you helps build that, connection right from the start. Entertaining your audience. You can show excitement behind why you believe in your products and services. You can call out the limiting beliefs that your audience might be having and eradicating their excuses. You can bust myths that your audience has, call out their mistakes. You can make video content focused on creating rhetorical questions. Like, for example, if you've asked yourself any of these questions, my services are right for you, or, anything like that. The brand building, behind the scenes, mission, vision, business promotions, talking about your community and what's really great about that. Like, there are just so many different types of video content that you can create. And the more the better. The more that people can see your face and get to know you before they're going to meet you or, work with you, the more they're going to trust you by the time they talk to you. So something to note here is that videos on social media are not built for the story crescendo. And what I mean by that is you have your normal story crescendo, right? You've got your introduction, and then your rising action, and your climax, and then so on and so forth. But social media isn't really built for that because of people's super short attention spans. So I'll show you guys some examples here. But something to note is that there's no point in building up to a crescendo if no one is watching after the first 5 seconds, right? That being the case, you should be unloading your best content first, not saving it for a minute, 2 minutes into a video. So to tell an amazing story, the number one thing you have to do is to evoke a reaction. So when you do this, your audience will stick around. Now here's kind of what I was talking about. So you've got the gray bar here is your exposition, your rising action, climax, following action, and resolution, right? That's kind of how your normal story goes or is structured. With social media, I've found that this story arc it's very different, right? Your hook, it needs to be right away, and it needs to start up here, not, explaining the basics and the look of the environment. You know what I mean? It needs to really hook you in, hook the viewer in, and then you need to provide the most value and emotion first, followed by why this is important, why this is relevant to the people that are watching your video, how they can move forward, how the process looks, and then helping them with future casting, putting themselves in the shoes of, moving forward with your products or services, and ending with a super quick, simple call to action. So this being the case, if I were to tell my life story, for example, if you are the face of your business and you want to help build that know, like, and trust factor, I might start a video, and this might be just a 1-minute video. I might start a video by, I was on the up and up, and then I lost it all. Like, people be like, oh, what happened? Right? You're kind of hooking them in. So then providing the most value and emotion first. So I would then talk about what exactly I learned from my setback. And then I would explain, why I love cameras and marketing and how. So I would talk about how I built my business, and now I'm helping others build their businesses too. Future casting could be as simple as mentioning that I'll explain exactly how I do this in my next video, and a call to action at the end could be a quick like our page, make sure you don't miss it, right? So definitely structured differently. If you were going to sell services for assisted living, right? Your hook might be a video of the children's emotional reaction to their parents moving in, like showing their happiness, or like a deep exhale, right? Or showing that stress relief and hooking them in by, oh, this is what I want, right? I want to be, relieved of my stress. I want my parents to be happy. All these things, hooking them in with that emotional reaction, followed by the most value and emotion being a quick video testimonial from the kids or even the seniors talking about their experience, followed by, talking about why moving into this location is a need for seniors' happiness. And then simplifying the business process. So describe what it looks like to sign up or move in. Make it super, super simple and easy to understand. And then future casting could be as simple as, not even saying, but just showing like more B-roll, which would be like, the seniors smiling and everybody's happy and stress-free, footage with music, right? Kind of portraying that this could be you. You could be really happy and stress-free if you moved here. Quick call to action at the end, and this could be done in, a minute, 2-minute video. It's got to be fast-paced enough for people to actually want to keep watching. So you don't want to draw it out and have it be a 10-minute video unless you're going to be posting on a platform like YouTube, for example. So I don't have to read through all of this, but to gain a new real estate client, it's going to be the same thing. You're going to hook them in. You're going to provide the most value by maybe educating them. The why, the how, future casting, and so on and so forth. And if you only have 10 seconds for your video ad, you would include the why and the how in your copy. Your copy is your text in your post for social media. So you would also combine the future casting with your call to action. So if you are going to reverse engineer your stories through video, I put a 10-step, step-by-step process that you can kind of look through and check off the list and go for it. So step number 1 would be defining the purpose of your video. So taking a step back before you just start filming and figuring out your why and their why. So why make the video, and why would your customer care to see it, right? Those are 2 different questions. And if you can solve both of those before you're even creating the video, you're going to have a really compelling piece of content. What problem are you solving for them? And number 2, figure out what main feelings that you want to evoke, right? So that could be desire, it could be trust, surprise, happiness, fear of missing out, or laughter. Like, what do you want to make people feel from your video? Step number 3 is decide on the story that will help you evoke that feeling. So, what's the beginning, middle, and the end? And what's the conflict, and how is it resolved? Now, with the story arc that I talked about, all of your videos don't need to be set like that. They don't need to all be that easily consumable, right? You can have videos where you tell stories and it's a longer form piece of content. I would just make sure that those are a little bit fewer and far between, because people just, they don't stop scrolling. You got to make them stop. Think about how will you evoke these feelings with your story. And then number 4, choose the most valuable or emotional part of the story. So think about, what would your audience find valuable, and why would they think it's valuable, right? Deciding on your hook is your next part. So how will you grab their attention and make them stop scrolling? This might be the use of numbers, for example, like the 5 best ways to downsize your home, right? Or arousing curiosity, like what if, so on and so forth. You could incite fear. I wouldn't super recommend it. You could exploit secrets, like the secrets no one tells you about moving into assisted living, right? You could use superlatives like the biggest or the best, right? Or employing the new. So the newest, way to do this or that. Step number 6 is defining what's next. So future cast for your audience instead of letting them know that the video is ending soon. If you guys watch any YouTube videos, for example, a lot of people will start saying like, all right guys, thanks for watching. And the second they say something like that, where people know that they're kind of wrapping it up, people are going to click out of the video, right? And they're not going to see that call to action. They're like, oh, okay, they're done talking. So if you can help future cast for your audience, instead of letting them know that the video is ending soon, you'll have more retention, which will in turn give you a better presence on social media. The algorithms will prefer you more, and you'll also be able to keep your viewers' attention and move them on to the call to action. So step number 7 is simplifying your call to action. So choose 1 or 2 things tops that you'd like them to do. You don't want to say, visit my website, or give me a call, or DM me, or, reach out via text. Like, too many things is just going to be overwhelming for people. So the more you can kind of funnel them in by, all right, your next step is to call me. That's it. Like, it's as simple as that. That'll help you convert more leads from your content. Deciding on a content distribution plan is step number 8. So figuring out before you film, what social media platforms will you be posting on and when, so you can kind of edit your videos accordingly if you're going to edit them, and figure out kind of the strategy before you're just uploading a video. Figure out how long your content will be. And then step number 9 is deciding on your micro content or your snippets. So, for example, when I shoot with Monica and Jason, we will a lot of times film for, an hour, and we'll have our main video from that, shoot. But there's a ton of other content that we can pull from that footage. So I can create smaller micro pieces of content from that, longer shoot. So if you're filming and you talk for 10 minutes into your iPhone, for example, going back and figuring out if you can cut snippets from that would be a really great way for you to have more content for your social media. So yeah, what other videos can you make using the footage that you'll shoot? And last but not least, creating your production plan. So this is where you might talk to a production company about storyboarding, shooting locations, scripts, all that stuff, or just figure it out on your own, which is very, very doable. So here are the steps again, how to reverse engineer your stories through video. So 1 through 10, hopefully that kind of helps you guys with the process. I know that looking at something like this story arc is just like, okay, that's a lot. Like, how do I do that? How do I take a step back and, walk through it? So 1 through 10, hopefully that helps you guys out. And something to note here is that videos need to be used throughout your marketing strategies. So something that just kind of breaks my heart is that a lot of people will pay a lot of money for a video, for example, and they'll upload it once or twice and just forget about it. And it's just like, man, you could get so much better of an ROI from that piece of content if you just, maybe did some marketing with it, right? So if you guys have content, having a plan to do some kind of social media marketing with that content is going to provide you the best ROI. So to do that, I'm going to give you guys just a few basics of Facebook and Instagram ads. And a lot of this stuff you're probably going to want to look back at later because it seems like a lot of mumbo jumbo, but let me definitely just show you the basics. So, all right, so you have your ads, right? Generally, before actually we dive into the look of this, people will just click that boost button. I know you guys have all seen it. Boost buttons on Facebook, or their Facebook's like really pushing you to just click the boost button, set your targeting, and it'll be great, right? It does work. It doesn't work well, and it really doesn't get you a good value for your money. So I would not recommend pressing the boost button. I would recommend setting up your Facebook account in Facebook Business Manager and formally going through all of these things and really understanding why you're paying, or like what you're paying for. Facebook, kind of takes advantage of people with the boost button. It's not a horrible strategy, but it's not great either. So your basic ad structure when you're in Facebook Business Manager looks like this. So you've got your copy or your text at the top, you've got your video or your image, your display link, headline, and call to action. And each of these pieces of the ad, you can be testing against each other. So I'll go through a little bit of the basics of split testing, but in order to figure out how to get the best possible return on investment for your marketing money, you're going to want to be split testing and figuring out what text performs better than others, what video is going to do better, and then you can put a bunch of money into that ad knowing that it's going to perform really, really well for you. So split testing, which is also called A/B testing, is testing which variables in an ad perform best. Lead ad forms are a different type of Facebook ads, and you can look into those separately. It's basically Facebook's simple built-in sales funnel. And manual ad campaigns are what will get you the best possible ROI. It's what huge corporations and professional marketers are using. What you guys can just look into, definitely feel free to look into all three of these different types of ad campaigns. But split testing is going to be a lot in and of itself, and it will get you a really good cost per click if you can do it just right. So the most simple way to measure ad effectiveness is your CPC all. And what this is your cost per click. So this is how much you're paying for an interested prospect to click onto your ad. So your goal of your CPC all should be 30 cents or less. You don't want to be paying more than 30 cents for somebody to click on your ad. When you click the boost button on Facebook, a lot of times you're paying $1 to $3 to $5 for somebody to click onto your ad. Your goal is less than 30 cents, and when you do split testing, when you figure out in the back end of Facebook what performs best and then put your money into it, you're going to be able to get closer to 30 cents for somebody to click on your ad. The best way to measure ad effectiveness is with all of these other metrics. You guys don't need to know these, but if you get super nerdy like me and you're like, ooh, I want to learn more, look into your CTR, CPL, CPC link, so on and so forth. The way you guys are going to get to all of these stats and tweak them is in business.facebook.com. So a lot of you probably already have this Pages Manager app on your phone for business. But what you can do is actually access Pages Manager in Business Manager on your computer, and then from there set up your ads. So if you guys go to business.facebook.com and set up a Business Manager account there, and then link your already created profile, that will help you run ads super effectively. So one more example here. I've got this example of when I ran an ad for a marketing course, and split testing is only changing one variable in each split test. So this is an example of what that might look like. I had the exact same ad running, same targeting, same everything. The only difference was the captions at the top and the bottom. So only changing one variable for each split test is going to be super, super important. So after your ad campaign is over, these would be the 5 ads that you saw in this last, example. You're going to find a winner, and your one winner, you can look at your CPC all, which is over here, and your CPC all that you want is the least amount. So, 8 cents would be your winner. You're only paying 8 cents for somebody to click on your ad. So then you can take that ad and either call it good enough and put a bunch of money into it, or what you can do is run the winners against a new variable in another split test. And you can make this as complicated as you guys want, but the more that you can refine your ads and really just figure out what exactly works best for each piece of the ad, the better ROI you're going to get. So just like I said, the more you split test your variables, the better results for your money. So figure out which variables perform best from your split tests, and then create an ad with the winners. And remember, always be testing to get your best ROI. So guys, if you want to learn more, I am on Facebook and Instagram at the TKM Co. and on YouTube at TKM Co. I'll be uploading a bunch of marketing tutorials here in the next couple of weeks. So that's my presentation.
Thank you so much, Tressa. That was really fascinating. Does anyone have any questions? And if you do, if you can type them in the chat box, and we'll just kind of go.